531PI.
You're listening to Pacific Mornings on 531PI. It's brilliant to be in your company this Thursday. You're with William Terite. Now, a year ago, proud Tongan actor and musician JP Foliaki took out the title for reality TV show Celebrity Treasure Island, dedicating $105,000 in winnings to clean water projects in the Solomon Islands. A year later, JP has just returned from a visit to the Solomons to see the fruits of his financial investment. He joins us now. Malolele, very good morning to you.
Hey, Malolele. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. First I want to go there with this visit you were on. How was it?
It was I would say a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
To go to the Solomon Islands, meet the people, and just see, one, they have a friendly spirit, but also and very welcoming, but they were happy to, one, share their culture, but also just to show us some of the things that they need, the resources or lack of resources rather. It was a life-changing trip, and it just allowed me to reflect and remind myself to be grateful for what I have, really.
Yeah, totally. And I suppose, most people can only dream of making such a donation of, say, that amount. How did it feel knowing you were ultimately part of that, and how were you received or treated?
Yeah, there were celebrations all over the Pacific, is like a phrase that was used by Josie Pagani when I won. So it was $110,000 actually. So the prize money for Celebrity Treasure Island, shout out to them, I'm grateful for the opportunity to have gotten on that show, was $100,000, but throughout the game you get the opportunity to win $5,000 or another $5,000 for charity.
Right.
And I was lucky enough to win twice, and I left with $110,000, which was how much they were actually needing to top up the funding from MFAT.
Wow.
Yeah, so they had their funding from MFAT, and then they were fundraising for $200,000. They had raised about $90K. So when I was looking for a charity and came across Child Fund New Zealand and looked into them further and the work that they do, I was like, they need $110,000. So if I win $100K, they just need another $10K. But I was fortunate enough, like I said, to win $110,000, and go over to the Solomon Islands with Child Fund New Zealand.
That's extraordinary. Okay, with that being said, can you perhaps describe the changes you saw on the ground, or changes you are seeing?
Yeah, for sure. So the Solomon Islands, like some may know, I actually don't know this, is comprised of like so many different islands. So we went to Aotearoa, which is the capital. I hope I'm right, but that's what I was told by someone. Contact the tour guide. But we flew into Aotearoa, and then we spent the night there and met some government officials, council members, tourism, Solomon Tourism, and then we flew out from there to another island called the Te Motu Province, and that's where the money that I won is going to be going. So there's about 18 villages, up to 3,000 people. 99% of people there don't have access to clean water.
Wow.
And I know it's crazy,
It's crazy
to think about how much water we use on the daily. We just turn on the tap, we get to wash our clothes, wash our dishes, obviously drink clean, fresh water. Up to 3,000 people there don't have access to clean water, drinking water. They actually have to walk no less than about 4 kilometers, 4, 7 and up, just to get to the Nembo Spring, which is where they can get their fresh water. You got mothers and their children walking with multiple bottles of water, 1.5 liters and up, going to get fresh water and walking all the way back to their villages. And the reason why I say all that is that the money that was won and the money that was provided by MFAT will allow a water system to be turned on so that these villages can be provided with fresh water. And another thing to note is that these villages actually had access, say 20 or so years ago, to water. So there's a whole generation, say maybe like our parents' generation, they know what it's like to have access to water. But that water system actually broke, and I'm not too sure who the provider was or the aid organization that set that up, but no one came in to fix that. So this next generation, or 20 plus years ago, no one came in to fix that. So there's a whole generation of children that don't know what it's like to have access to water. but their parents do, and they remember that.
Yeah.
So when you say, what was it like, and were they celebrating, not just me, but I guess, of course, what that means to them. Fresh, clean water allows students to stay in school, to learn, less likelihood of diarrhea, malaria, and all those types of things.
And I'm sure you would have heard those stories on the ground time and again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they stay with you, like, emotionally, or?
Yeah, definitely. And a story that stood out to me actually was from one person that was over there that had said that they had been praying for so long for an opportunity like this where they could have access to clean water, or for someone to come and help them do this. But it just reminded me that there's, like, my part to play was just a small part in a bigger puzzle, and that there's so many different things that are happening at the same time that allow us to reach the same goal. But it's important for us to play our part. If I didn't go on the show, they wouldn't have been able to have 110k child fund. Doing their work with MFAT, they wouldn't have been able to do that. And then shout out to Sharon and the team from Greenergy and the Solomon Islands in Te Motu province, who have been working hard with the community there as well.
Wow. Of course, you're a proud Tongan. How does your cultural identity, I suppose, influence the way you give back or choose which causes to support?
My cultural identity, I think, is something that plays hand in hand with things like family. My grandparents, since I was young, and my parents led a life of service. And I think, yes, definitely being Tongan, that comes with being Tongan, but heavily influenced by what I saw growing up with my parents and with my grandparents and how they served the community. So when it came for me to choose a organization or a charity, I was looking for a charity that served our people but were hands-on, but also allowed the community to do so in a way where that community could lead. Because a lot of, I would say, in the Pacific, or at least from my experience with the conversations that I had, that there is a little bit of distrust with charities or NGOs coming in, and just trying to be the savior,
totally,
and not actually allowing the community who understands their problems and understands their solutions actually lead that.
Wow.
And I think that's something that we see across the board in many different Pacific organizations, Pacific communities. Child Fund New Zealand really, they take a hands-on approach, but they allow the community to lead it. So I think when I think about what's important to my culture, it's allowing our people to come up with their own solutions and serve their communities the best way that they know how, which is things that I grow up seeing.
Yeah, certainly. And look, before we wrap it up, it'd be remiss of me not to ask, I mean, awesome that you did all of this, but I mean, creative projects, what have you got on? You've always got something on the go.
Yeah, well, we actually got the New Zealand Screen Awards tomorrow. I was fortunate enough to be nominated for Best Personality Award. I was like, I don't know how to celebrate this without looking too narcissistic. But I think it ties in as well back to like the work that I've been able to do and creative projects that I got coming up. When I got the nomination, I was like, hey, this is like a bit grateful as, but I was like, how do I like celebrate and post about this without looking like I'm just talking myself up?
Yeah.
But it's being able to I guess just use the gifts that God's blessed me with and then give back to our community. So I've got that tomorrow and new music coming up soon as well. Exciting.
Levi, you want to chime in with a question?
No, I'm good. It's good to see you, JP. Live and well, bro.
Live and well.
Thank
God.
Well, this is JP Foliaki. Thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate you coming in studio.
Malo.
You're listening to Pacific Mornings on 531 PI. When we come back, I'll be joined by Save the Children's Chief